again, I'm making another statement. I don't think Trump's going to be in jail.
Me either.
But again, if it was a black man in the same situation, it could be Robert Smith, the richest black man. He would be in jail right now.
Good evening, this is Dr. Curry.
This is Coby Owens.
Shané Darby.
And welcome to The Source. Another week has come and gone, and even this week we have another murder here off of Carter Street. I don't know whether or not y'all got any more information. I do know it happened on Wednesday morning around 9:30.
Yeah, so like you said, it happened on Carter Street, 23rd and Carter. Right before 10 a.m. Again, people are still just getting up, getting their first cup of coffee when shots rung out.
I gotta stop you there. Not just getting. I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. 10 o'clock is lunchtime. But go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, lunchtime at 10. Okay. Noontime for me. But no, this is a very serious matter. Unfortunately, people tried to stop the bleed. He was transferred to the hospital where he unfortunately passed away. He was 30 years old. And again, people who were in the neighborhood, they were in their houses when they heard the shots ring out, and they said it was very loud, very loud and continuous when this happened. So again, praying for this young man's family. He was only 30 years old, and again, we continue to see the violence in the city.
Yeah. Now you said that people went out to try to help stop the bleeding. Did they see who did it, or did anybody report? I know when I read it, didn't see it where they had any. Who could have done this?
No, people ran out their house once they heard the shots stop and they could hear yelling.
Oh wow! I don't know. And who's in is that your district?
No, that's right around. It's right across the street.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I don't know what we're gonna do with all of with all this, and with the level of murders, and then. I don't know whether it was intentional or not. That's why I want more information, because to know whether or not it was the person meant to kill him or just wanted to shoot him. Was there some rumors about some kind of dice game or something?
So there is a rumor that they were playing dice and everything, and probably something went bad. But again, no further details have been released on it. So again, they are looking for a suspect, but the city police do not have a strong track record of solving a lot of murders.
Yeah. Well, we'll sit back and we'll continue to just add to the chart that there's another one. And I feel so bad for that family who have to now suffer and sit and watch a 30-year-old who is very, very young to be gone now. Last week we had an opportunity to have a little bet, not a bet with money, but a little wager to see whether or not Donald Trump will be convicted of his 34 counts. And you said no. And I said yes.
I thought it was going to be one juror who.
Yeah, and it was so quick. So that's what I felt like. You know what? It's acquittal or he's guilty, because it was still too quick for it to be a hung jury, because you got to convince a person. But I'm very grateful that we see that the justice system is working across the board. There is a lot of conversation being had, and I'll just open up and just say it before I can get into some of the questions I want to ask you all. But there's a lot of conversations being had that, it's the Democrats against the Republican president who they don't want to become president. What is the thoughts there?
So one, I'll still say this. I'm still shocked that he was convicted on 34 charges, especially when they did the breakdown of where the jurors got their information from, right? So this was a self-assessment of what news outlets do you watch, right? And some had multiple, like New York Times, Fox News, Google. But there was one juror that their only news source that they have is Truth Social.
Yeah,
this is the alternative to Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. But it's owned by Donald Trump. Right. Donald Trump started this. He controls the narrative with it. It's a private social media company, and this person gets all their information from there. And I thought with something like that,
that's right.
You usually have someone who leans their way. So for that person, I don't know, man, woman, whatever, that person to vote to convict is, and again, I didn't watch the in full trial. I don't even know if it was public to that extent, but whoever argued this, Alan Biggs, must have argued his heart out to convince that person to also that Trump is guilty.
The facts were laid out strong, I felt. The facts were laid out strong. It wasn't even about a personality issue. It was the facts. And I think that's where it's kind of hard to deal with. But I thought that one juror, I was of the same opinion, that one person who really had a lot of, I said, why would Alan Braggs allow her to even be? That would have been when I was struck right away. But the facts were pretty good and pretty much out there where, he was guilty. And if you didn't want to listen to what Cohen had to say, the reality of it is there's no facts out there to be able to prove it. Boy, can you imagine this being a black man having a porn star and wanting to run for president?
But again, back to your point, is it Democrat versus Republican with this justice system? I have a few things to say on that. One, anyone who's been downtown, Wilmington, this past week, you've seen all the news crews, the tents, the police holding up, making me late for work. The Hunter Biden trial's going on for him checking the wrong box at a gun store, right?
Or checking a box, give it in the right box.
Right. That he wasn't a drug addict, and he was. It's not about Democrat versus Republican. This is just another opportunity for America to highlight that we have a different justice system if you're rich versus if you're poor.
I agree with that.
Now, even though Trump is now a 34-time convicted felon, right? You have the governor of Florida saying, we'll waive that for him and allow him to vote. But yet almost 4 million Floridians, or however you call them down there, a few years, 2018, a ballot measure passed to give them their right to vote back. Felons, right? And DeSantis and Trump orchestrated a workaround to it so those people couldn't vote. DeSantis, Mr. DEI comes to Florida to die, right? We're never giving those felons, they committed a crime, they have to live with it for the rest of their life. But he's gonna change it for Trump. Trump's not gonna, again, I'm making another statement. I don't think Trump's gonna be in jail.
Me either.
But again, if it was a black man in the same situation, it could be Robert Smith, the richest black man. He would be in jail right now.
I don't know if he would be in jail right now because they'll keep pilling like Trump is doing. But y'all really don't. I don't believe he's going to go to jail. I don't believe that. I don't believe he's going to go. But what I do believe is that the judge is going to give him some jail time.
So you think he's going to flee?
No, because he got enough money to keep appealing. See, I think
but appeals run out.
But they're going to run out. He's going to become the president, because we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. When he becomes the president, he's going to get rid of a lot of this stuff. So if I can just
hold out to November. But the president cannot pardon themselves.
They can't pardon themselves. But when you have a Republican Congress and a Republican Senate, which is on and prone to happen, and he's the president, what are they going to do? Change laws. What are they going to do? Make it where he can be able to say, and not so much he pardon himself, but they're going to pardon him. Well, I know it sounds crazy, but watch. Watch when he become president in November, because there's a whole lot of things that is happening. I'm not asking for this, and Lord, please don't take my words as if I'm in support of it. But Even though he's not going to go to jail, I don't believe that with all of my heart, but I do believe the judge is going to sit them because he's too defiant. And he got to be able to send that message that you cannot be held in contempt as many times as he was held in contempt. You cannot continue to talk about the jury and the judge, and now going to be held in contempt again, and not give him some time to sit behind bars, whether he be the president of the United States or who else, because you send the wrong message. But do I think he's going to actually physically go? I don't think so. And you don't even think he's gonna get convicted to go? I mean, no, he's gonna be.
He's gonna get community service, and he's gonna say his campaign is his community service.
No, but I thought they said that that would be nice if they could pick up some trash at the subway in New York. I thought that would be nice. That's better than jail. Oh, okay.
If you think so. Yeah. Locked up, they won't let him go.
Okay. I'm joking. Well, all I can say is, as we're looking at this now, here's a question I wanted to ask you all, and for those who are watching us: is America ready for there to be no democracy, where really, where the autocrat will be able to just govern the way he wants to? Because when you saw people like Marco Rubio, how he's just shifted, and now in Trump's camp to a place where it's just unbelievable. All of the Republicans have gotten in order. If they take over the House, if they take over the Senate, what will stop Trump from destroying democracy totally? And the stuff that we talk about on this show, you can just stop that. You might as well just get ready to close the doors, get ready to turn off the lights, because if he is in charge, it's like Putin. You go to jail. They'll find something to put you in jail.
Well, I'll say this. One, under the Trump administration last go around, I will say they attacked Black activists, right? And they used the FBI to declare people who spoke out against police brutality, people who spoke out against what was going on at the border, the inhumane treatment of immigrants. They were declared Black identified extremists, right? They were put on no-fly lists, and these were people who were speaking out, but they were not organizers. They were just speaking out, and they were being put on this list. They were just using it to systematically try to shut people down. That is very much looking in the mirror of what's going on in China and Russia, and I have no doubt that will happen again. Am I saying that I think that they're going to win the trifecta? No, I think Democrats will probably win the House, lose the Senate, maybe lose the White House as it stands right now, right? That's just my honest opinion based off polling, based off where everything is. And the scarier part is who will be the vice president under Trump.
Well, he's narrowed down to 4 men.
He did.
No women around.
One who's Byron Daniels from Florida.
Yes.
Who believes that Black people were better during Jim Crow, under Jim Crow laws.
He got one of your Black people on there too.
Who?
Tim Scott.
Oh, Tim Scott.
He's one of the finalists. He'll save you, Black people.
This is it's a scary type time right now, because we need more people to speak out who are in positions of power against what is going on. And I'm talking about on both sides. We have some fighters down there, right? Especially you look more towards the U.S. House. You have the Rashida Tlaibs, the Ilhan Omars, the Summer Lees, the Jamal Bowmans, right, of the world, quote unquote, the squad. But you need more of that to fight back against these archaic laws that people want to put in place.
Yeah, but when people have the power to go ahead and vote over that voice, that's what's happening. That's what's going to happen. And when you made a comment, you did add in where the Democrats may keep the what do you call that? The House. That will be the only saving grace if that is true. Because if they get the House and the Senate, there will be nothing that won't be passed in order to ensure that the democracy is destroyed. Because he's already showing, and he's going to go after a lot of people. I mean, and he's going to go after them, and you will hear the squad raising their voice, screaming and hollering, But it's like screaming in a wilderness where there's no one that can hear you.
I mean, you look at currently in his own party, right? Anyone who has opposed him, he has systematically gone after. And it goes all the way back to Bob Corker from Tennessee, the senator from Tennessee, Jeff Flake from Arizona. Actually, because he went after Jeff Flake, that seat flipped from red to blue, right? Tennessee's a little different. It stayed red, but now you got Marsha Blackburn, right? You see what has happened in all these different states, even North Carolina as well, to Indiana. So again, you see a very different, you see a lot of infighting as well too. He wants, it's all or nothing with him. It's his way or the highway. And that's what he's looking for in his VP as well too.
How do we survive it? That's all I want to know. How do we let's say if he went, and we're not conceding that he will win.
Who's the we?
I'm not that. I'm not conceding that Donald Trump is going to win.
No, I'm saying who's the we that needs to survive, because black people have been surviving.
No. We know how to survive.
Yeah.
Okay, but the point is, I'm talking about America now. Now we're talking about in general. That's the we. Beyond black people, I mean, just Americans, period. Our democracy, the thing that we hold true, even though it has treated us so horribly, even though it has treated us as unequal for all of these years, it is still a better opportunity land for us than a lot of other places. But the point I'm trying to make now is, how do America, thank you for making me qualify that, how does America survive a Trump presidency given he knows all the rules now?
Strong local and state government. You have to, those are the laws that impact you more on a daily basis than federal. So like, for instance, Roe versus Wade was overturned on a federal level, which then didn't allow federal protection. Now states get to make a decision. Delaware, we're protected. Woman can have. Right now. Yeah.
So it's codified now.
So that's what I'm saying. So we're protected. We have more legislation and bills coming that's going to create more protection and more access in Delaware. Okay. But if you go to Mississippi, right? Okay. Different, because there's who runs their state government and their local governments who make those decisions reflect the federal government and their view about Roe versus Wade, right? So I think it's really important, and that's why local elections matter. That's why who you vote in city council, who we vote to be our mayor, who we vote to be in these state seats matters, because then we can make strong state governments to try to protect us from federal stuff.
But let me ask you this question. In saying that, I'm gonna receive that. How do you then handle when the squeeze of government money stop coming in? Because see, that's what a lot of people have. You're right if the money, everything else is flowing. But if he, like, remember when Trump was in at one point, when a tragedy happened in a certain state, he didn't even try to help.
Well, look at Puerto Rico. He went down there and
it was as crazy as if they weren't even a part of America.
He talked to the president of Puerto Rico, not knowing he probably looked in the mirror.
But how do you handle the squeeze where local government can't?
One, and I tell all people this, especially nonprofit leaders, like, you should not be 100% reliant on government funding. True. Now, I talk a lot about opportunity that's there with government funding. Why? Because it's opportunity, right? Go get that money. But your whole infrastructure shouldn't be, like, your whole budget shouldn't be 90% reliant on getting that federal dollar or getting any government money, right? You have to diversify that. And make sure that it's sustainable. You should have that plan built out for the next 5-10 years on how you will be able to sustain with private dollars and with public dollars, right? When that federal money starts being pulled back, right? Because what they're going to do, they're going to try to push for another tax bill. Anyone who had to pay more in taxes this year was because of the 2017 tax bill that they delayed and then delayed again in 2020 because of the pandemic. We had to pay more. But if I had a boat, I would have got money back, a tax credit for that, for owning a boat. Would I need a tax credit for
Tesla?
That? Well, that's the EV credit. But yeah,
I'm just showing you how
that's assets, right?
Yeah.
If I wanted to get a EV in 2023, I'm paying anywhere from $55,000 to $80,000 for a car, right? That's not affordable for most people, right?
That's what I was saying.
And then even if you make good money, right, as a minority, a black person, right, I could have great credit. I do have great credit, right? I could apply for a loan and they would still deny me, but yet I could have a white counterpart
applying the same
who has almost 150 points lower than me in credit, apply for the same amount and get it, it makes almost $25,000 less than me.
Yeah, but again, I'm going back to the same, because it's going to get worse. The squeeze is going to come, and then I know there are times when we talk about whether it be the city budget or the state budget, they keep raising these taxes. When you get into these poor communities, I don't know how they will be able to survive being shielded from a government that really hate a certain municipality.
Well, I feel like we already been surviving. Like, I don't feel like with Trump or Biden that I'm just going to figure it out. Like, I've just been figuring it out. Like, that's what we do. Like my nonprofit, I don't get government money. I'm going to be okay, no matter who's what in the next presidency. Personally, I just survive. Whatever is available, if food stamps are available and I qualify, I'm gonna get some. If purchase of care helps me, I'm gonna get purchase of care. If it doesn't exist, like I do now, I'm gonna figure it out. I think surviving, I think it's gonna happen. I think Black people have been surviving since we've been in this country, and then we just figure it out and pivot. Yeah, people are just figuring it out. People are already in survival mode. That's just my opinion. I don't feel like most of us are going to start figuring out how are we going to survive. We're already trying to survive.
Yeah, and surviving.
The top things that are affected by federal dollars, right, really are public welfare. So those programs, right, programs that get cut, they'll get scaled back. The amount of funding you get, those will be the first things, right? The second is education. Right, and Delaware's education system is
worse,
already
terrible already. We're surviving.
We fight with
what?
Alabama, Louisiana,
and
Mississippi as who is going to be the worst for it. Right?
We just was ranked the worst hospital in the state, in the country.
Well, that's number 3.
Which hospital was that?
All of them here are ranked the worst. We're already surviving.
Here's the thing with our hospital system, right? And we just had that HB 350 go through and everything. Our hospital system is horrible as well, too, for individuals who do not have money. It's a 2-tiered system, right? If you have the money, you're good. You can pay for all the services you need. You get the best doctors at all these different hospitals. But if you're just a regular person who's living paycheck to paycheck, you do not have a good education system. You do not have a good healthcare system. You barely get enough help with welfare here in Delaware. And all these programs are also partnered up with state dollars as well, too. And the state has failed to do their job on their end, right, of addressing the need. This is why the NAACP sued the state, right, in 2020 about our education. And that AIRS report, people have been saying it for years. The AIRS report, outside independent study says, oh no, not only is your schools bad, y'all need to invest $1 billion in it. You know how much money the state has put into it additionally? Nothing.
Whoa.
Carney did the whole $60 million for certain things, built a new school. But this is saying you have to integrate $1 billion over the next 6 years.
Yeah, that's something I think we need to look into for real, because that is the way out of poverty is education. And it's 2 areas y'all just kind of threw me off because I didn't really read up on it yet. But 2 areas that matters the most, your healthcare and your education. And both of them, you're saying that we're ranked very, very low.
Yes, and then he was talking about income.
Right.
For health disparities, income for Black people doesn't matter. I could be a Black woman in social service, or I could be a Black woman who's the doctor at Christiana Care. My rates of disparity is the same when I enter in for the healthcare. So income for Black people doesn't matter when it comes to healthcare, because we're dealing with a systemically racist and historically racist system. So when we talk about that, it's like, it just frustrates. The hospital thing, that's my thing. That's my thing with maternal health care. Like, it frustrates. So we're in a state that has the worst health care already, the worst education system, housing, affordability. Throw that out the window, right? In the whole state of Delaware. And then there was this one article I read. It was talking about, is it GDP? Like GDP, economic activity or economic development in our state. We were at the bottom. We were out of 50 states. We were 50.
In form of, in general.
In general, we were the only one in the negative in regards to economic development, and we were the last.
Yeah, well, and there's so much going on. The reason why we're certainly sharing and just talking beyond just the local is that there are a lot of disparities that are going on, and we really got to work on making sure we're paying attention to this election that's getting ready to come up, because things can only get worse, okay? People say it can only get better. No, it can get even worse. All right, so we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to come back with Shané Corner. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Jamal Womack. I'm the director of Olympus Academy here in Wilmington, Delaware, and we just wanted to let you know we are here. If you're interested in learning about basketball, if you're interested in getting better in basketball, if you're interested in finding a school that puts all of that together, the academics, the basketball portion, and if you're not local, you can actually stay on campus with a staff that's committed to making sure you're safe, making sure that everything operates in a function to progress your career and your academics. We are the school for you. We are growing. We're gonna go so high in a limited amount of time with your help. We can't do it alone. So if you heard what I just said and you believe that Olympus Academy is the right place for someone you may know, whether it's your son, whether it's your nephew, whether it's your grandson, please contact me. You can reach me at my personal email, which is jmack03@icloud.com, or my work number, which is 718-483-0290.
Hello, Wilmington. I am Michelle Harley, and I represent the 4th Councilmatic District. The communities in the 4th District are Southbridge, the Riverfront, Midtown Brandywine, Trinity Vicinity, and a portion of the East Side. I am running for my re-election on Tuesday, September the 10th for the 4th District City Council seat, and I would love for you to donate and to consider volunteering. To learn more about what I am doing and what I plan to do, you can visit my website at www.michelleharley.com. Together, we can move the 4th District forward. Thank you.
And we're back. Well, what's going on with Shané Scoop this week?
Yeah, I just really wanted to kind of talk about the local elections, really city level, about like what's happening, where are we now? We know that a few people have announced that they are running or filed, but there's still a lot of council people who don't have opponents or someone running against them yet. So we know in the 1st District, the current council member, Vincent White, he has billboards up. He's saying that he's running. I don't know if there's any other candidates who are announcing yet that they're running for the 1st District. You have me in the 2nd District. I'm running. I have heard rumors of like maybe one person wanting to jump in from the Democratic Party. They're trying to recruit someone to run against me, and that's more information shall come soon once that person announces. Okay. But I know they're actively recruiting to get someone to run against me. And I expected that, and I'm okay with that. Come on. And then the third person is Xanthia Oliver. So Donald Farrell has announced that he's running against Xanthia Oliver. So Donald Farrell, I met him a few times. I feel like on some of the topics I have talked to him about around like lead and housing, I feel like he's really good on. I don't know too much of his platform. I haven't found like a website or anything yet for Don Farrell.
Has he filed?
He did file. Oh. And I know he's been speaking, he's been reaching out to different people to have conversations. So we have Donald Farrell, who will be running against Xanthia Oliver. So now Xanthia does have an opponent. So for that race, I just hope that, that person is successful. He gets the resources and things he needs to be able to run.
Would you endorse him? This person, you can't endorse him until he's...
No, I'm not endorsing him.
Okay.
I know I'm gonna be very clear who I'm endorsing, but I hope he gets the resources he needs.
Okay.
Yeah, like I can hope well for someone and not endorse
You're
him.
absolutely right.
Yeah, there's some people I'm hoping well for. So I hope well for his campaign and what he's doing. But then we have the 5th District. We have Brigida Fields. We do have a potential candidate. I don't know if she announced yet officially, so I don't want to say who, but she will have someone who's running against her. So I am definitely going to endorse that person. Okay? That's a definite.
That's your sister, Mari. Sister. Okay, let me stop because I create problems. Okay, keep going. You
sister.
There's a person running. Is there a person running?
So she'll be running. And then we have the 6th district, Yolanda McCoy. She's our current council person. I don't know if she's running yet. She hasn't said.
She's running.
She is running. Yeah. Okay, so Yolanda McCoy is running, our current, but I haven't heard of anyone running against her. And then we have 7th district, which is really interesting, which is currently Chris Johnson. So I have heard of 2 candidates. We know her name is Miss Peggy. I don't know her last name.
Brooks.
Peggy Brooks. She previously was with the Williams administration or something.
She was under Baker when Baker was council president. She was the deputy city clerk, and then she worked in the Williams administration.
What's her name again?
Peggy Brooks.
Okay, yeah, Peggy. Okay, yes, okay.
Yeah, so she came out that she was running. I spoke to her. We had a few conversations together. Okay. So she'll be running, and then there's another guy named James Dalaka. He decided he wanted to run too. So that should be an interesting trio race if no one else jumps in. Kind of figuring that out. In the 8th district is Nathan Fields. I don't think anyone has come out in the 8th district against Nathan. So we do have a few during the district seats. We do have a few people who do have opponents. Some people that I am definitely like at least one person so far I know who's running. I'm definitely like, yep, let's get them in. Let's replace that person. I'm going to be honest.
The ones that don't you have some? Are there any people announcing for at large?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about at large.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to rush you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Nah, you good. So at large, currently right now you have Alex Hackett.
Okay.
And I feel like he got really good social media presence with like the young people and people throughout the state. But he's really going to get on the doors. Like that's social media is great. Yeah. Okay. But those people don't vote. Yeah. We need people going to vote. You got to get on them doors. So I think Alex Hackett is a really good candidate.
Have you talked to him?
Yeah, I spoke to Alex. Yeah, he was my, I danced with him in Dancing with the Stars. He was my partner.
Oh, wait a minute. Then when I interviewed, I interviewed him, we had the sneaks on together.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know, that's the Kappa.
Yeah, the Kappa, man. That's my dance partner.
I wish I would have remembered that he was the dance partner when I interviewed him.
Yeah, that was my dance partner. Okay. So me and him talk, and then
they had a nice little performance.
Yeah.
But the votes were rigged. People were sending it out to people who weren't there, and then the whole administration was there in front of me. So the table I was dancing at, the administration was right here looking at me, like the table I started at, because I had started at a table. But anyway, so I lost because the administration don't like me. So they made sure. But yeah, so at large we have Danielle Covington. So Danielle Covington's running. What I do know about her, which is really interesting, I think she's a pastor. Her husband is a pastor too.
Okay, I know Covington. Okay.
Yeah, so crazy part, I was like, Covington is my grandma on my dad's side last name, her maiden name. So I was like, do you know, what's going on? And that's actually my grandma's brother's son.
Oh,
is that
wow.
Crazy? That was wild. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
I don't know him though.
You do now.
Yeah, I do know him now. So that's kind of like, I guess, long distance family. That was kind of crazy. Anytime I see a Covington, I ask. And then, so we have Michelle Covington, or Danielle Covington. She's running too. So I haven't heard much about her platform. I just know she's a pastor. And outside of that, I haven't heard much.
I will say she has shown up to a lot of events since she announced. I did not know her before she announced or before she filed.
Okay.
But she's shown up for not just for photo ops too, like the community cleanup. She came ready to actually work, which I give hats off to that, because you have some politicians who want to show up, take a picture, and then route or take off. And then she's been very involved with the civic associations recently as well too. So
yeah, that's really
it's her
good.
first time running. A lot of people don't know until they actually file where they should be going.
Yeah, but the key is what Shané just shared. If you're running, especially if you're new, you really need to get out and hit those doors.
Yeah, that's number one.
You need to get, and I remember when Justin was running the first year he ran, and that was one of the things. Even I was in the 8th district strong. I was everywhere saying you got to be out there so people can see you and share what your platform is. I'm sorry.
No, you good. And then I think Wayne Dobson is running at large too. Yeah, she announced that she had a campaign. She had a meeting, a kickoff meeting. So Wayne Dobson is running, and I think that's it for at large so far. Of course, Maria Cabrera, Councilmember Cabrera, is running again. Letitia Bracey, she's running at large again. I don't know much about Al Mills. I haven't heard much.
I haven't heard anything either.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to run at large or for the 1st district. And then you have James Fadola, so he's running again, and there's no one running against James Fadola because he's the only seat that's the non-Democratic seat So you have to be a non-Democrat to run in that seat.
Okay. That could be a Republican, independent, third party, anyone else. There is a minority seat held on council, like it is up in
James,
Philly.
not Brown.
Mike Brown.
Yeah, Mike Brown. I could call him James Brown. Mike Brown ran for that seat and won it.
And Mike Brown's now running for county council against George Smalley. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah. I don't follow too much of county council.
Right.
Yeah, I think we should pay more attention. But, because I know someone, not Bud Friel, but what's another old white guy from Wilmington?
Oh, Jesus.
He's running for county president.
Bob Williams.
Bob Williams was another one.
Bob Williams was the councilman before Chris Johnson.
Right.
And Bob stepped down. Bob moved out to Newark, and now he's coming back into politics after, I think it's been, like 5 years, 6 years.
Okay.
And now he's back.
Yeah, I know it was another one. When I heard the name, I said that name sounds familiar.
Right.
But for county council president, since I mentioned his name, there is 4 other people running for that. I think it's the biggest field outside of city council at large as of right now for the whole state. It's 5 people running for that. And that is going to be a very competitive race. And then, of course, you have county exec as well, too.
Okay. Yeah, the person I'm seeing a lot for county president is Monique Johns.
Yes.
She's another pastor.
Really?
Or
her husband.
Her husband is.
Okay.
I know she's deep in church. She tried to marry me off a few times.
Oh, amen.
No, I'm okay. And then county executor is Marcus Henry. I've been seeing a lot of his signs.
Yeah, Marcus Henry is running against Karen Hartley Nagel for a county executive, which again will replace Matt Myers, who's running for governor.
Right.
And then for county council president, like I said, it's a lot of people. Monique Johns is one of those individuals. She ran last time against Ciro and
I can't remember.
Oh, Karen Hartley.
Well, I know Cyril, though.
Karen won that last go round. So again, it's a lot of people running. I'm pulling up the list right now so I don't mess up everyone's name, but it's George Frankel, Val Gold, Jason Hoover, Monique Johns, and Bob Williams.
Oh, wow. Interesting. But, sometimes I'm very grateful that there's a lot of people running, because that means some people decide I'm going to get in this because they're not content with some of the things that are going on. And I think the only way we can change things is that we get involved when we see things going astray. And I don't want to take it, we want to get a couple extra minutes.
And then the only other local city council race for Wilmington would be the mayor's race, right? Yeah. Well, treasurer, too. But I don't think we have nobody running for treasurer at this point.
Against the person at
Against Sims.
Okay.
So Sims is the guy who's currently in, and there's no one running against him, but he hasn't filed that he's running. Did he?
Well, they usually wait until the last minute.
Yeah, he's probably wait till the last minute. So we don't have anyone for treasurer, but for mayor right now, we have Velda and Carney.
Okay.
So Velda and John are running. And my question is just, I am actively endorsing Velda. Like, I am not quiet about it. I am saying I'm endorsing her because I don't understand why anyone would think that John Carney could run a city if he couldn't run a state. He's running on the fact that he's going to provide better education for Wilmington children. When he had the power, because I'm going to tell you about the power that city council has, we don't do much for education. Like, I can't write a law to say, I'm going to change something in education. That's not in my jurisdiction. That's not in our power as a city council or as a mayor, right? The power is in the school board and the state to do that, and our governor.
Okay, and that is correct.
So he was the governor for how long? 12 years?
No,
8 years?
8 years.
He was governor for, 8 years.
7 for real.
Before that, he was lieutenant governor for how long? 10 years? 8 years again?
Yes.
And then before that, he was a congressperson for how long?
4.
And then before that, he was a congressperson. And before that, he worked for the state. So he had all this opportunity to make Wilmington education better. And he think he's going to do that as a mayor. And we're worse than Mississippi. No shade to Mississippi, but when you worse than Mississippi, I think there's something wrong with that our education system is worse than Mississippi, and we think that he's gonna come to Wilmington to do better. We are the worst GDP in the country, and the only one that went into a negative, that declined. Those things are concerning for me. Like, forget everything else, right? Let's look at his record. For me, his record does not show run our city. right? So that's my problem, especially, I'm just going to be very frank with black people going around talking about they're supporting John Carney when the very policies he has been harmful to almost everybody, but at a higher rate for low income people and black and brown people. Like, that is so sad that you want to vote for him and want to encourage him to be our next mayor, knowing that he has policies that have hurt us. And you talk about,
well, I don't know if everybody know it.
Yeah, I don't think people know it, but the same way like that conversation with Trump, if Trump get in office, it's going to get worse. It's the same thing with John Carney. John Carney gets in office, it's going to be the same effect as Trump, because John Carney is not going to put in policies that's really going to help Wilmingtonians. When he had the power and more funding to do so, did he do it? Look at our education system. Look at our healthcare system. Look at affordable housing. We have all this development in the city of Wilmington. And we have the lowest economic activity, negative, in the country. But the state put all that money into the riverfront, because that wasn't city money. Most of that was not city money. Most of that came from the state, who helped with the development for the riverfront.
Yeah. Well, I think, I'm sure Velda and Carney are going to have fun testing this out. Now, there have been a debate already, right?
Not an official debate. Like,
it was more like a forum. Yeah.
Okay, because I think a real debate needs to happen. But one of the things I would like to do on this show, and we're going to go to a commercial break after this, is that I would like to have a surrogate debate where we bring in a person from John Carney's camp and a person from Velda Pollard's camp.
Terrible.
And we're going to bring both of them, and I would like to ask them a couple questions and let them speak for their candidate. While everybody else is doing the candidates, I would like to just have a coffee with Curry or just asking questions and let them put their, unless I see it as a lie, then I got to correct it. But beyond that, I need to hear answers to certain questions. Why do you feel John Carney would be the best mayor for the city of Wilmington? Why do you feel that Velda Pollard would be the best mayor?
I need to hear that. I want to know why someone would think John Carney is the best.
And I think people who are watching us would like to hear that too. And then give an opportunity at the last part of the conversation for each side to refute what has been said. Mm-hmm. Because I think that's, and I hope I can get them to do this, because if they can, I'm gonna do a couple shows so that maybe we can just keep airing it, and then people will get a chance to see, hear, make their own informed decisions.
I agree.
And I can, because there are people out there saying now, well, she's in support of Carney and nobody is, not Carney, of Velda, excuse me, I don't want to say that, Velda, and nobody's there to support Carney. We don't know that. What we want to do is we want to stay neutral to the place of getting the information. That's where I want to be, but I don't never censor any of our members, because at the end of the day, we have a right to support who we want to support. And we will definitely make sure that stay at the front of what we do. We're gonna take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back.
How you guys doing today? My name is Brandon Snow. I'm president of Southbridge Civic Association. I've been a long-term resident of Southbridge. For those who don't know, my grandfather was Willie Snow. We had Snow's store on B and Hill, which was a long-standing staple in the community. I'm here as the new civic president to pledge my transparency and see the growth and prosperity of our community going forward. For those who need to reach me, feel free to reach out to me via email. It is southbridgecivicassociationde@gmail.com. And if you need to reach me by phone, feel free to reach out as well. I can be reached at 302-363-4788. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Eugene Young. I'm incredibly thankful to be here. I am a candidate for U.S. Congress, and I believe when it comes to Congress, it comes to service. One of my favorite lines about service is you can't lead without loving, you can't save without service. So what's the depth of your love, or what's the quality of your service? So this aspect of love and service is what brings me here before you today, and wanting to take that and extend that into Congress as we move forward. I look at my last 20 years of serving the community, and I look forward to having another 20 and being able to find more ways to even better serve the community, which has given me so much. So please feel free to join us at eugeneyoung.com. That's EUGENEYOUNG.com. That's eugeneyoung.com. If you're interested in volunteering or donating, it could be $5 a month, it could be $100 a month, it could just be a standard donation of $10. We appreciate it all. Thank you so very much, and wishing you a wonderful, beautiful day.
Lincoln University is the first institution founded anywhere in the world designed to provide higher education in the arts and sciences for youth of African descent. Today, Lincoln graduates continue to make names for themselves in business, the sciences, religion, education, law enforcement, as well as many other fields, continuing the legacy to learn, liberate, and lead.
And we're back. Real quick, just remember at the last segment I shared, I'm going to be reaching out to both campaigns, whether it be Mrs. Velda Potter or Governor John Carney's campaign, just to see if they're willing to come on and just share, why they feel that their candidate will be the best candidate for mayor for the city of Wilmington, and a couple other questions, but we are certainly going to try to see if they will be willing to do that. I don't really want to bring in the candidates at this point. It's a little early, but I really want to make sure that I stay neutral so that I can show you both sides of this, and then we need to make some informed decisions for real. Coby, what's going on with your side of the corner today?
Yeah, so first I want to talk about what's going on in our state Supreme Court right now. A few months ago, we talked about the Superior Court judge who struck down both laws for early voting and permanent absentee statutes that was passed in 2021 and 2022. I want to talk about these because these are huge. These are additional tools to provide additional access to the polls. I think early voting is a great thing, and I don't think you should have to continue to apply for absentee voting, especially for individuals who are aging, right, or who have trouble getting to the polls already. This is not vote by mail, right? This is a different thing than vote by mail. But it's being argued. The opening arguments have started in our Superior Court. You have the former party chair and former AG, GOP party chair, Republican Party chair, Jane Brady, who is arguing on the side of why it should be struck down and shouldn't be reinstated. And then, of course, you have the AG who is following the appeal, who is pointing to arguing that temporary and transitional are not protected under all absentee voting in our current statute. This was struck down, but I will say 46 other states have early voting laws, right? And 29 of those states have constitutional provisions very similar to Delaware, right? But they are still allowed to have early voting. We did see a huge increase in early voting in minority communities, not just in Wilmington, but the largest increase were in Sussex. Like, we saw Black and brown people coming out to the polls in record numbers down in Sussex that we hadn't seen in the past. The court should be making a decision on this within the next 60 days. And this could or could not impact this election this year, which means this primary, which we're 90 something days out for, which is going to send almost every campaign into a scramble to change their, early vote strategy. And then, of course, our November election here in Delaware as well, too. We've never had early voting for a presidential election. So again, this is something that I'm going to be following very closely as they argue more and more. We will see where this goes and what the decision is. But again, I have no clue. I can't even make a prediction on where I think the Supreme Court's going to go with this. But it is going to be a very interesting case. Next, I'm going to talk about next Saturday. Okay. At 11 a.m. is the Juneteenth Parade, the kickoff on King Street, going down to the riverfront, the Tubman Garrett Park, where there'll be vendors there, music there, games for the kids and everything. So if you're in the area, come out to that. I know a bunch of people have been signing up for the parade to be in it.
How do you, I meant to, before we got on the air today, I meant to ask you that question. How do we sign up? Because one of the things that we're doing, we're making an official holiday here at our church, and this whole easy and fair community. How long would a person sign up, one, for the parade, and two, let's answer that question first. Do you know how?
So they have put something out on their website and on their Facebook, but I believe the deadline has passed. I believe the deadline was like May 29th, something like that. But again, get in touch with them so that you can be on the list for them to send it out to you next year as well too. And then from there, I mean, it's fun. I was in it last year. I had a great time. I think, are you in it this year?
What, Juneteenth?
Yeah.
No.
But again, it's a very fun celebration. It's just us coming together.
I wasn't in it.
Who sponsors that?
The Delaware Juneteenth Association.
Now, what role does the city have in that, since we're going to be downtown?
So, you want to talk about that? So I had to, and council member or President Congo had to force the city to help Delaware Juneteenth. So the city has money to have a Juneteenth program. I thought initially they were partnering with Delaware Juneteenth. When I got in contact with Delaware Juneteenth Association, I realized the city was saying they're going to do their own Juneteenth celebration. So instead of just supporting what's already happening in the community, I guess there's some type of, the city doesn't, I don't know if there's like some issue between the two groups. I didn't get too much into that. I know President Congo and I just advocated for them to get in-kind donations because they were trying to have them pay for all the police, pay for everything. But for all the other parades, like JC Parade, they don't pay nothing. They exempt them from all of that. So we were at least able to do that. Okay. But the city is going to do its own Juneteenth thing.
What the announcement is going to be yet?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, we'll look forward to that. I don't want to say it's not. And these are the questions that some of the people that I've come across ask. Who is sponsoring? I know it's a general organization, but is Wilmington, is Newcastle, those type of things people want to know because we're in an election year.
So I believe
we got to make sure that we got those kind of answers.
I believe they've gotten some sponsorship money from Newcastle County, at least in the past. I don't know about this year. I haven't seen their list for this year. Again, it's a group of people who are dedicated to uplifting the spirit of Juneteenth. They've been around
forever.
Yeah, forever.
This is the anniversary year. I can't forget what year. I forgot what year it is.
I think it's 20.
Because Miss Sylvia was like, this is one of our anniversaries. She would help. She's on a committee.
Okay. I think it's 20.
I can't remember.
But they've been around a very long time. I remember going.
Actually, I think it's 30. Because I remember when she said it, I was thinking like it's just as old as almost as me.
Yeah. But look, come think about it.
I'm 29.
Is Trippy running again, by the way? Is Trippy running again?
Yeah, he's running. He just hasn't filed yet.
Okay, because that's the only thing I was going to say. Who's running for president of city council?
Oh, yeah, no, for Trippy is staying.
Okay.
He ain't going nowhere.
Well, we didn't say he's staying. We said he's running.
He's running.
Maybe we put somebody up against him. I don't know what you think. Okay.
No.
They're not going to win.
Go ahead.
So, again, this has been a celebration. It started with the flag raising, and then it has grown into a parade. It's a pageant. It's a gala. They do a bunch of events leading up to this. They do something at the YMCA as well too, with a Black Business Expo. I think they started that a few years ago. So again, they have been working. They have been doing a lot to bring awareness to this. Again, till recently, most people did not know what Juneteenth was. And what I don't want to happen is it to be commercialized, right? So continuing to work with the grassroots groups who have been working on this for years is key. But please come out to the parade. It's fun. It's an opportunity. You'll get candy from the people throwing candy at you. But then also come out, listen to the music. It's just a good time. The weather is supposed to hold up real nice. Last year was really high. It was like 92 degrees. This year it's supposed to be in the early 80s. So it should be a fun day. And then later on in the day, once you're done there, if you want to go out to Glasgow Park, Reggae in the Park is going on. They're having Serrani coming this year. Last year was Wayne Wonder. And again, last year was amazing as well too. So it's a fun day. Saturday, June 15th, 11 a.m. On King Street, from 11th down to Tubman Garrett.
Gotcha.
General Assembly updates. The General Assembly comes back into session this upcoming week. They was on break for Memorial Day and then for JFC markup. DFAC, there was an article that came out that said DFAC had found an additional $300 million that had previously been projected not to be there for the state because they would have spent it by now. What that means is there's additional money for projects and for other funding. Hopefully what we will see is no nonprofits lose any funding this year through grant and aid, and additional money put into the bond bill, right, for more projects to be done across the board. We have some strong allies who are fighting for different projects, for funding for bills. And again, regardless of what committee your bill starts with, if it has a fiscal note, it has to go through JFC. Both the Senate side and the House side have to approve it if it's not already in the general operating budget. So again, with this additional money, people are trying to find, hey, can we get this money for my bill to get my bill implemented? And a bill may have a fiscal note because it's, you're adding additional staff, right? Or you're setting up a new office or whatever it may take. So again, you see a lot of bills that many of us thought may not have gotten through this year. That was put on the back burner is now back on the front, full flame. So we will see where it goes.
Gotcha.
The next and last thing I wanted to talk about is the death penalty. It has been a roller coaster of a ride here in Delaware, dealing with the death penalty over the last, I'll say, 10 years, with court cases, it being abolished because it's being ruled unconstitutional, but still being on our books here. Representative Sean Lynn from the Dover area has put up two bills and their companion bills. One is HB 70 and the other is HB 301. HB 70 seeks to repeal the death penalty in Delaware. HB 301 is a constitutional amendment to prohibit the execution as a form of punishment here in Delaware and remove it from our Constitution. Both bills have been being pushed for a long time in different iterations, but now a group of advocates and organizations have thrown their weight behind this to finally try to get this across the finish line. Unfortunately, there are some individuals down in Dover who are holding this up because they want carve-outs. So they want carve-outs for if you can still use the death penalty if a first responder is killed, right? This happened a few years ago, and it led to multiple amendments being put up. When the one for first responders were put up, the individuals who were teachers down there said, well, why isn't it a carve out if a teacher gets killed, right? So again, we will see where this goes. Again, I believe, this is just me, I believe the death penalty is immoral and is wrong and should not be on our books here.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I stand with you on that. I am a firm believer my brother was killed, and that question was posed to me. And I was very clear. I do not believe in the death penalty. I do not. And I stand on that. Revenge is God's, and he will let a person live the rest of their lives thinking about what they did, as long as we incarcerate them appropriately. But then who has been disparate? Who have received it more than any other community? We
Black
have.
and brown people.
So I understand. All right. Well, this has been a very good show. And this is the first time you ended without using all of your minutes. But I do want to say for those of you who are watching, there is an announcement regarding the building of the Zion Fair affordable senior housing has begun. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be sharing with you the process for how you can apply and get into the lottery system in order to be one of the 10 fortunate individuals who will go up there first. This is going to be a model. This is something I'm getting ready to take on and make much larger and do much more of. But we've been waiting, we've been fighting with folks, and we've been doing things and making things happen. Now it has come to a place where we're ready and we're moving. So you will be hearing some more information on how you qualify, because this is going to be true affordable housing. It's not going to be based on how much income of this community. It's going to be based on the poverty rate. Poverty level of how much money you should be making a certain amount or under. And then based on what you bring in, a certain percentage of it will be what we will charge for rent, meaning it's real affordable housing. Not saying the community is just $50,000, so we can charge you $7,000 a month or $2,000 a month for rent. No, we're going to do it the way it's supposed to be done, and you're going to be hearing about the lottery, and we're going to do that fair too. It's not for Zion Fair church members, although we are doing this project. but it's really to say, let's give a model of how we can build quality. Each of these units, each of them have their own elevator. Each of these units will be built strong. We're spending several millions of dollars to ensure that we have a quality product so that when the governor, when the mayor, when whoever walks and see our grand opening, they will see what true affordable housing should look like. It should not be something that is just thrown together for the old little poor people. No, they should have a quality of life and they should be able to live in quality. That's all I have for today. Is there anything else on your plate?
That's all I have.
Is there anything else on your plate today?
None at all.
Well, let me just say thank you so very much for continuing to watch us. This is our show today. Until the next time, see ya.
Take care, y'all.
Talk soon.